Themis, have you changed your allocation in any way? I mean, it's been a tumultuous 3 or 4 days, particularly in fixed income. Has UBS changed its outlook?
Since the start of the escalation of trade war, we made a couple of changes. We cut our overweight in emerging market equities because clearly that's one asset class that would be directly affected by escalation of the trade war. We also went underweight the Australian dollar because this currency that is very closely linked to what happens in China. If you have a significant slowdown in China, then exports from Australia to China would slow down, have a direct impact on the Australian dollar. That's a way to protect the portfolio. The only other change we made was to go long some emerging market currencies with high yield, like the South African rand, the Indian rupee, and the Indonesian rupiah. And that's against some developed market currencies. That gives you a very nice yield in an environment where you have a lot of uncertainty.
Well, Simon, there's a map of the currency market, and certainly on Bloomberg Surveillance, we've seen huge debate about dollar direction. What is your call at BNY on dollar direction, or does it stay range-bound given all the tumult and the new yield matrix we're in?
I think the dollar starts to move, actually, Tom. Clearly, we've had a low volatility environment in the last 6 months. That's been driven by the fact that yield differentials were at some of their lowest levels ever, the fact that yield curves were flattening, so trying to find anything out there that had any kind of worth, and people needed to find some kind of yield so people saw volatility. But if we're moving into a more negative environment, which in fairness, during the summer typically you can see happen anyway, and you have the trade war story building, then actually I think the dollar can start to move here. And I think a lot of people can be surprised by the pace with which it can move, because I think people net are not positioned for a radical shift in valuations.
Is dollar too high?
No, not at all. I think that in a world where... Let's go back and let's just ask the question about how serious the market is taking the trade war story. Look at the way underlying asset markets are reacting. It's reacting the way they did back in '98. It's reacting the way they did in the summer of '08. What currency would you have wanted to own if you were going into the summer of '08? The dollar. And look how far the dollar moved. So no, I don't believe the dollar's overvalued at all.